it wouldn't be a live broadcast of Facebook for Kiwi Voice if it wasn't for technical difficulties. So we'll try that again, team. Welcome to Friday, the 12th of August. Really appreciate anyone taking the time to tune in. It's been a while since I've done a live, and it's just the usual. Got a few local and international news stories that I would like to cover off and comment on. So we'll wait to see if anyone gets on a Friday afternoon, and then we shall get amongst it. Someone let me know whether you can hear me okay. We've got one person on there. Thanks for joining. A couple of people. Appreciate you doing so. Someone give me a thumbs up or let me know that you can hear me. And then we will get straight into it, team. Hope you're having an awesome, awesome week. Beautiful, beautiful day. Thank you. Thumbs up. Beautiful day here in Christchurch. Freezing cold, but sunny airs. Beautiful. I've just come home from the morning in the office. The dog has spent his longest amount of time at home on his own and seems to be okay, but we're going to get out into that sun and go for a run shortly. Thanks everyone tuning in. Let's get straight into it. I've got a couple of pages of notes I want to cover off and comment on. Let's get rid of something straight away. Sam Uffindell, or Uffindell, however you pronounce that particular MP's name, but obviously you wouldn't have missed it if you paid any attention to any media whatsoever over the past week. So what has easily been the most prominent headline all this week in all mainstream outlets, but specifically on stuff.co.nz, demonstrates to me further the decline of our fourth estate. So why is that? Now, this is a story about a recently elected MP who did something stupid in the past, namely 20 plus years ago as a 16-year-old at boarding school. He beat someone up and admitted he was a bully while at school at 16 years old. Just one moment, team. My dog, apologies, got to let him out. So, bullying sucks. The victims of bullying, depending on the level of offending, often go on to develop self-confidence issues. We know this, and other mental issues later in life. It's really sad, it's hurtful, and I think we can all agree something we should continue to work to remove from our schools and other institutions where it hurts others and anywhere else. I don't think many of us will disagree on that. That bit appears obvious. However, it was 20 plus years ago that this guy beat someone up at school. I have no doubt that if I asked every single one of you guys out there, and I asked myself, if you are the same person now as you were 20 years ago, you really aren't going to be, are you? It's a resounding no. I've done some dumb shit as a teenager, no doubt about it. I'm sure we've all made dumb mistakes in our past. It's cool being human, but learning, adjusting, and growing from these experiences is all part of the human journey. And I see this particular instance with Sam Uffindell as no exception. In my eyes, this is a story. Let National, with their increasingly centre-left aligned values, do whatever they see fit with their MP, notify his electorate, and just carry the heck on. I mean, whether they want to fire him, whatever they want to do. Me personally, if I was Chris Luxon, God forbid, then I would, would have a chat with him, would publicly state it was 20 years ago, and we'll just get on with it, get on with the job at hand. But whatever, I guess what I'm trying to say is the amount of coverage that it's got has been crazy. The energy, time, and coverage this story has been given, front and centre, headlines every day for almost a week, while so many other important issues that we all know about go uncovered, just further demonstrates where we are at with our news media in this country. Finally, just leave it alone and move on. That is my thoughts. Far too much coverage, Ginny. Yeah, totally agreed. Terry Marie, total witch hunt. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm not endorsing bullying in any way, as I said. I'll try to preface that. We could talk about it for ages, but essentially way too much effort and energy gone into that. Moving on, though, let's go overseas for a bit. New data out of Germany this week from the Paul Ehrlich Institute tells us that using their data on vaccinations given, so from December 2020 when they started their COVID vaccination program to 31 March, my birthday, 2022, including 62,925 doses. not vax people. So that's doses. 172 million doses. That once under and over reporting tolerances are taken into account for this number, 1 in 5,000 of those doses caused a severe adverse reaction. This includes myocarditis, pulmonary embolism, and others. This was presented by Dr. John Campbell, and I urge you to go and check out his full detailed video on YouTube for a far better description than I could potentially give you with more detail and more time put into it, a whole video. I'll pop the link for the video in the description of this once I post it. But 1 in 5,000 doses in Germany out of 172 million caused a severe adverse reaction. That's a lot higher than you would be led to believe and what I thought even. So there you go. We'll pop that link in there. Urge you to check it out. This guy is facts-based, evidence-based, straight down the middle, worth having a watch. Come back home again. It's been revealed that both the Treasury and Inland Revenue advised the government against the recent cost of living scheme payment scheme. In a March 25 joint letter stating the scheme had significant risks associated with designing this proposal at speed. The government's chief economic agency also cautioned that a one-off payment was not the best way to support those struggling the most with inflation. What do I feed my spider plant? I'll get to that in a moment. Not much. So my opinion, this scheme appears to be an absolute mess, with 780,000 fewer people that were expected to get it actually getting it initially, and thousands of people not even living in New Zealand receiving it. We've all seen those headlines. Now, I completely and utterly understand how people are struggling. I do myself from time to time, and I 100% believe that the majority of people in need who receive this payment will use it to help them survive. I'm not anti-welfare. In fact, I think a well-organised and targeted welfare system is a bedrock of a well-functioning country and society. But one-off short-term payments like this aren't going to help much, while piling further inflationary pressure on our country's economy, sadly, which will ultimately wipe out any gains made for the people that really need this payment anyway. Now, I've just lost my track there. The fact that this Labour government has advised this from many different areas, but decided to do it anyway, is just another example of incompetence from where I sit. Right, we've got to move on to something touchy, team. I've mentioned this in the comments for those of you that get involved in the conversation on Kiwi Voice. I had to touch on it eventually, and it's just fraught. It's just fraught, both from a censorship point of view, a cultural point of view. No more mucking around. Transgender issues. I'll do my best here, as I know this is a sensitive topic for so many, and that the technological establishment wave a fairly big stick in regards to wrong think and censorship around this issue. But anyway, here it goes. Now, I wanted to cover off the story specifically around the English Rugby Football Union. 2 weeks ago, they banned transgender women from playing women's rugby based on scientific evidence available, according to the Rugby Football Union's head, as stated by the RFU president. I've got to read my own notes, Jeff Blackett. Weeks out from the start of the Women's Rugby World Cup here in New Zealand, should be an awesome event, the English team held an open training session, and this was marked with a protest from the LGBTQ+ Rugby Supporters Association, Quins Pride Chair Emily Hamilton. She said the decision to ban transgender women from the game impacts the safety of her community. Interesting sort of angle. New Zealand Rugby has indicated it is taking an inclusive approach here in New Zealand to transgender players in rugby as it works through its next round of consultation on its policies with clubs, community groups and provincial unions. So I'm picking up from that, and I haven't reached out to anyone, I've done any further research, so complete assumption, but I'm picking up from that statement from the NZRFU that they are allowing transgender women to play women's rugby at this stage until they consult with their players. That's how I read that, but we'll see. So my opinion on this, though, overwhelming majority of the time, transgender women playing in top-level sport are going to have a huge natural biological advantage. I really hope I don't get too much hate for stating that, but for me, it's nature. And in full contact sports such as rugby, MMA, basketball, and others, it's going to turn out completely unfair for the woman competing. I'll leave it there without getting into too much more detail. So, over in the States, Trump's home in Florida has been raided by the FBI. Bet you didn't know that one already. It's been absolutely everywhere over mainstream and alternative media, with reports stating they have recovered 15 boxes of classified information that he held illegally, the former president of the United States. Trump and his team are saying the opposite, as you would expect, and there are theories that this is a move from the Democratic Party, theories only, that this is a move from the Democratic Party to assist in stopping Trump running for president in 2024. Having him convicted for the crimes around holding this classified information would do just that. Of course, the left in the USA is cheering this on, but from the scant details I've been able to pick up, although it has been covered extensively over there, without any real great level of detail, there's just so many questions, so much up in the air, it is hard to really say one way or the other what is happening there. With the USA government as corrupt as it is these days, it's truly hard to get a grasp on reality and truth. Finally, finishing things off shortly, team, before we get outside in this beautiful sun and take the dog for a run. If you are in Christchurch, I've mentioned it, I posted it, it's created conversation, but the Freedom and Rights Coalition are having their latest protest tomorrow morning here in Christchurch at 11 o'clock, starting at the Bridge of Remembrance. I will be picking from the last couple of experiences that there will be speeches there first, with Brian Tamaki speaking. The length of his speeches are often, well, when I say often, watch the live stream of the Auckland protest. I've been to 2 protests here in Christchurch where he has spoken, and I believe the length of his speeches are too long. Just my opinion. Sorry, Derek and team out there. I do think they are a little long. But as a whole, the marches are always enjoyable. Usually through the streets of Christchurch, through the central city there. Changes routes almost every time. I don't know whether they pick that on the day. It doesn't really matter. It's great. It's well organised. It's well run. It's uplifting. Get amongst it. The mainstream media is starting to notice and reporting on the upcoming Wellington protest as well on the 23rd, with the People's Court also being held. So could be an interesting few weeks ahead, team. That's essentially us, what we're covering off today. It's awesome to get 30 or 40 of you on at lunchtime. I love doing lives. I love doing Kiwi Voice. It's great fun. Let's check out some comments before we close things off. Nanaya's hubby was 34 when he assaulted a woman, not 16. Yeah, no repercussions. Great call, Jasper. I would look into that and do a bit of comparison vid. That is a great call. Thank you so much for sending us some stars. That's up, right, people. Anyone that is new or wasn't aware, if you've got the ability to send stars through Facebook to me on my lives and any other video where that button appears, it's a really great way to support us. When we get up to over $100, we get that paid out to us, and that'll go towards equipment, travel, time, money, etc. Everything that goes into Kiwi Voice. It's all an affair of love at the moment. Love for you guys and love for speaking up on the Kiwi situation. Now Jacinda is gaslighting the bullying happening in the Beehive. Okay, interesting. Terry, I'll look up that as well. Lisa, thank you for sending me some stars. That's fantastic. We must be getting very, very close to a payout on that front. What have I missed, peeps? Well, when this is finished, Lorraine, it'll post up in HD. By all means, go back and watch me yarning my face off. What are they up to now? Cool, getting the chickens meme in there. Hi, Diane. What do I feed my spider plant? Yeah, right. So, look, I'll be totally honest with you. I just water it. I've put it in a standard potting mix from Bunnings, and I water it. Put it in sun, and it is epic. It's my favourite plant. It really is. There's more of those going to come into the household, I think. They're super easy to look after. Gorgeous things. Gorgeous. I love, if you haven't picked up already, I love having trees and plants around me. Absolutely love it. Jeb Cinder is a pot smoker. And where's Clark? Okay, don't know about that. Why don't media report on increased SADS? Yeah, well, there's been one article that I've seen, Ardness. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. 49-year-old Bible. Yeah, I've read that one. I think that possibly was even the one. Yeah, that's maybe something we need to dive into. SADS. Totally agree with you. For those that don't know, sudden adult death syndrome. You heard that right. It's a thing. It's being reported that way in certain areas. Someone I knew. Yeah, really sad. I'm really sorry to hear that. I wonder how many transgender women playing in the men's rugby. That's true. That's a good question to ask, of course. Both ways. We've got to have that query. Yes, I heard that, agree, etc. But people's attention spans aren't 30 minutes. Not sure what that comment's in relation to, whether that's me talking too long, I don't know. Listening from Cairns. Awesome, Iris. Great to have you on board with Kiwi Voice. Hello, Karen, Haro, Di, and I should run for PM. That's probably... I could probably do a better job than the current one, let's put it that way. And, I'm a confident guy, but way too much bollocks involved with that. Brian and Tamaki. Yeah. Gotcha, Jenny. Yes, 100%. There's part of that. We've got a short attention span in these current times. But once people get there, a lot of, specifically the tentative people that are like, oh, I'm coming along to a protest. What do I expect? And then having to stand around and listen for 30, 40 minutes. Not great. But anyway, they're doing what they're doing and running the protest. So, we've got another stars in there. Awesome people. Hey, look, I've really got to get out amongst the sun, get the dog run, and he's just lying flat on my deck at the moment and looking absolutely stunning, but we need to get some exercise and then I've got to get back to the day job. It's been awesome having you on, team. I love this. Have an awesome afternoon. Stay safe, stay free. We'll chuck the link for that John Campbell video in the description before we head outside. We'll see you again real soon.